Hello and welcome to the Madison podcast. My name is Ben Lavender, New York's favorite British mortgage broker. Today I have not just a special guest, but someone that I've known for a really long time. When I just got my license, I just did like one of, my first few deals was with Mr. Richard Raspantini, who we have today, who's one of, would I say, the pioneers of HomeSmart? Or?
Pioneer of HomeSmart or on Long Island for sure, in the area, yeah.
Okay.
I don't know about a pioneer. I mean, we've been around since 2000, but I brought the HomeSmart model to Long Island when everybody told me I was out of my mind.
I remember, yeah. And you said something, actually, before I even get into that, Rich, just give everyone kind of like the boring let's get that out the way. Like, give us your background, how you got into the business, what you did before. Let's just get that out the way.
So, Rich Raspantini, I'm the broker owner of HomeSmart Premier Living Realty. We have currently 5 offices throughout Long Island and Queens, about 170 plus agents. We're about to open our 6th office in Hop Hog in January. I've been in the business since way back in 2014. I was kind of thrusted into the business. I was in the IT field. I was doing some AV stuff, and I lost.
AV?
What's that?
What's AV?
What this gentleman does.
Gotcha.
Right. So, but I was doing some of this stuff, but I was also on the IT side of it, so doing a lot of video conferencing and whatnot. And I used to work for one of the banks. And make a long story short, lost my job twice in a year. 2 different companies. So I figured I had to reinvent myself. Decided to get a license to help me kind of through that transition or through that process of looking for another job. One thing led to another. I became a pretty good agent, top producing agent within the first year in the business.
So before you go further, because that alone, because we were just about to brush over that.
Yeah.
Right? Like, how did you do that?
I was doing a lot of things that back in 2014, 2015 that were non-traditional that are very traditional today. So Google pay-per-click, Zillow leads when Zillow was $300 a month, not $5,000 a month.
Yeah.
I was doing social media ads on Facebook, so I'm not saying I was an early adopter of that, but I was definitely
2015. No one was doing.
Right, I was definitely an early adopter. Well, that was the thing. I've taken a West Coast model and brought it to Long Island, right? And these guys out on the West Coast were doing this stuff way before we were. So
you find that your IT background helped you with that?
Yeah, a little bit, sure. Yeah, definitely helped me a little bit because there was a certain, thinking behind it and a certain type of way to think about things and understand how the internet kind of works. So that I think helpful. I'm not a big believer in mailers. I was always pushed to do mailers, and I just figured, what do I do when I get a mailer? I throw it in the garbage. Not so much now because I like to read it and maybe laugh a little bit about they just sent this to an agent, but what a waste of 59 cents. But but yeah, that's kind of how I got it. And then right after I was in the business for exactly 2 years, I got my broker's license, decided to go out on my own, and launched HomeSmart. I mean, I just kind of fell into HomeSmart. It was completely accidental.
Yeah.
I would have definitely. I was actually looking at other brands at the time. I was thinking about being an independent broker. But then when I saw the HomeSmart model, I was blown away by it. I was like, wow, imagine offering all of this to agents.
So let's go over that. What exactly is the model, and why do agents like it?
Well, it's a 100% model, right? So it's a 100% commission with a small transaction fee and a $99 a month fee every month. So $1,200 a year, small transaction fee on every deal. Whether it's a $10 million deal or a $500,000 deal, they pay the same transaction fee, so it doesn't slide. Gotcha. We offer probably more to our agents than any other brokerage, whether it's the technology or the tools and all the other stuff that I bring, the extra stuff that I pay out of my own pocket for our agents, whether it's social media marketing and that kind of thing that I pay for to help them with their own careers and boost their own listings and sales. Okay, we're not the first 100% based brokerage on Long Island. There's plenty of them. Yeah. I mean, I'm not going to name names, but there's plenty of them. Nobody does it as well as we do. I'll tell you that. Nobody does it as well as we do.
So why is that? Curious.
Well, because I think it's if you look at the 100% model, one of the things is that people think about 100% is it's a license hanging center where you pay a fee every month, a small transaction fee. They hang your license on the wall. You go in to pick up your check. It's very cold. It's not much support. They're basically just there to hold on to your license. And you know what? 99% of the 100% based brokerages are probably like that.
Yeah.
You know, I can tell you we're not. We run 100% based brokerage that has all of the features that a quote unquote traditional brokerage has.
Yeah.
Office space, desks, printers that you don't pay for, right? We don't charge for copies, which a lot of brokerages do, which is ridiculous. They charge for scanning. We don't charge for that. That's all free to the agents.
Scanning?
Oh, it's crazy. They got like these cards now. Some brokers have cards where they put their card up to the copy machine and it takes like 35 cents every time they make a copy. I mean, that's just nickel and diming.
Yeah.
I mean,
something wrong with the business model.
Yeah, definitely something wrong with the business model.
Something I'll say, Rich, because I mean, I've known you for a long time. I've known a lot of your agents. You've
brought me a few.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Thank you.
You have somewhat of a culture and a camaraderie.
We do.
I don't know if that's like typical of HomeSmart or if that's just something you've engineered, but it's pretty cool. It's great.
Yeah,
to see.
we actually seem to attract a very similar type of agent, which is just mind-boggling, right? So I don't do a whole heck of a lot of calling up an agent and say, hey, I want you to join HomeSmart, right? Most of our agents come from either other agents or the random call where I get says, hey, it's so-and-so from someplace. I need to join HomeSmart today because I'm in the middle of getting a new listing and I don't want to give my brokerage money.
Got it. Yeah.
Okay, so and then they ask me what the process is, and I ask them where they're at right now, and depending on where they're at right now, I tell them how long the process is going to be. My process is instantaneous. License gets dropped, I pick it up, we're rolling.
Easy.
Some brokerages, they hold on to people's licenses for a week before they drop
Really?
it. Oh, yeah. Oh, it's crazy.
Yeah.
Some for 3 days, some 5 business days, whatever it is. So we pick it up at the speed that their brokerage drops it.
Got it.
You know, and as far as the culture, like I said before, we're all very, very similar. So very entrepreneurial. A lot of us have multiple businesses, right? So they might be real estate agents. I have real estate agents that are also lenders, which is interesting enough.
Yeah.
They're not doing their own FHA deal, so you don't have to worry about that. I don't think anyway. We have agents that are appraisers. We have agents that are inspectors. We have agents that are lawyers. We have top producing agents. We have, teachers, cops, firefighters, right? Where they do the 5, 6, 7 deals a year, right? But 6, 7, 8 deals at HomeSmart's over $100,000 a year. Well, people don't realize that.
That's
right?
a great point.
And
they got their full-time income on top of it. Too,
yeah,
so.
If they're a cop in Suffolk County making a couple $100,000 and they make another $150,000 at HomeSmart, it's like a no-brainer.
Yeah.
So like I said, we're all very entrepreneurial. Certain culture is we're very independent. So I don't have a lot of needy agents.
Gotcha.
Most agents can be really needy. How do I upload an MLS? And they've been in business 25 years. They didn't even upload an MLS.
So would you say that you get more experienced agents versus?
Yeah, definitely more experienced, but not necessarily so much maybe real estate experience as much as life experience.
Interesting.
So they come, again, I don't want to use the word smarter. That's not the right word. They have more common sense than I think maybe some agents where, you show them once and they just get it, right? So they have more business. A lot of them have business sense. So they know what it takes to get something from point A to point B. Like I said, we're a very, very different model. I've turned away agents.
They get the game more.
They get the game.
Think, yeah.
I mean, I turn away agents every day.
That's a good segue into the game. Let's
right.
talk about the game, like how people, we talked about this a little before, like how people in the business, whether the agents, lenders, whatever, just don't get it. Please.
They don't get it.
Yeah, dive in. What does that mean?
So they don't get it. So you have agents that, believe it or not, have never uploaded their own MLS file to MLS. They have like an admin.
I mean, as a lender.
No, it takes 10 minutes, and I'll be talking to an agent coming from XYZ brokerage, and he or she might have been in the business for 20 years, 25 years, and they're looking to make a move for whatever reason. And I'll ask them, certain questions, and they'll say, well, do you have an admin that'll upload my MLS listing? And I'm like, we can help you with that. I mean, maybe you could pay somebody in the office, but why would you want to do that? Well, I've never done that before. My brokerage never allowed us to do it. So it's almost like a lot of brokerages hold back agents, so they feel uncomfortable about moving on, which is absolutely mind-boggling to me.
Mortgage companies do it too.
Yeah, it's just crazy. I mean, you should really know how to upload your own MLS listings.
Yeah, that
You know,
sounds like
and I get that a
standard
lot.
thing.
Believe it or not, I get that a lot when I talk to agents. How many actually don't upload their MLS listings? It's bizarre to me.
That's wild.
It's very common, which is kind of crazy.
Yeah, it's as you said, it's a tactic to hold them
Oh,
back.
a lot of things.
That's what it is. It's like the more you don't teach them, the more reliant they are on you. So they don't get. It's exactly as you said.
And another thing with a lot of brokerages they do things like clawbacks and that kind of thing. Whereas, well, I don't know if it's necessarily called a clawback, but let's say they have a listing that is in contract, right? But they want to move brokerages. So let's say they're on a 70-30 split at XYZ Brokerage, and they want to move over to HomeSmart. They can't move over to HomeSmart while that deal's in contract because their brokerage is going to drop them down to maybe 50%. Or 25%, which we don't do that. I think that's ridiculous. Why would you hold back?
What's the logic of that?
Well, because again, it's a holdback, right? So it's like keeping that agent controlled.
So that I get because it stops them from wanting to move. But what's the reason that they give? They give some BS like, oh, we need.
It's a company policy.
Yeah.
You know what? I talked to a very, very old broker a couple of years ago. They've been in the business a million years. An older guy, I'm not going to name his name. You probably know who he is. But I said to him, where did this whole commission split 50-50 come into play? And he said to me, he goes, back in the day, the role of the salesperson was just to do the deal. Once you did the deal, you took the paperwork, you threw it on the broker's desk. You got the accepted offer. He took the rest of it. Right? So he handled it. Today, it's not like that. Agents do the deal from A to Z. So why are they giving up a broker split? That's the thing that's really bizarre to me. They'll tell me, my favorite thing is, well, I really love my broker. Well, first of all, your broker is an office manager who works 9 to 5 Monday through Friday. And while he or she might be a great person, is she helping put your kid through college? Did she buy that kid a new car? Yeah. No, of course not. You could stay friends with her. But why are you giving up that much of a percentage of your commission? And she's not even the owner of the company.
For a lot of people, I mean, because I've seen it myself.
It's like crazy. It drives me batty.
Emotional, but it's different for you, Rich, and it's also why you attract a lot of the entrepreneurial types, right? So, and that's why the non-entrepreneurial types stay with those brokerages, because to them that like connection with their office manager means more to them than that, which is crazy when you say it out loud.
It's insane.
Then it is insane to value a relationship with a person that you just met over putting your children through college. That is insane.
But this is not even like a real job, right? So I shouldn't say it that way, but if you're not happy at a brokerage, it's your business. You could take your business literally anywhere to any brokerage and nothing changes. Yeah. Right? So if you came to HomeSmart in the unlikely scenario, for whatever reason you weren't happy, you could pick up and go back tomorrow. There's nothing holding an agent at a brokerage.
That's true.
Especially at our brokerage because we don't do the clawback thing. So if you're paid at 100% and you decide, in the unlikely scenario, you decide to leave HomeSmart and you have a deal in contract, you're still going to get paid 100% on it, less a transaction fee. That's never going to change. You know what I'm saying? So, and that's where I think it comes down to the common sense thing with agents. Like they just don't get it. They're afraid of change. But what is change in this business? What is change? Your business card? It's not the way you do business. That's not going to change. The paperwork surely doesn't change. An agency disclosure is an agency disclosure whether you're working at HomeSmart or any other brokerage. It's the same forms, right? So what is holding you back? I never understood that. Teams drive me nuts. Another thing.
So on that subject, I want to give you my thoughts on this.
Yeah,
hear what you think. It's like, so when I see, it could be an agent, could be a lender, goes on social media and announces, great news, I've switched companies.
Big deal.
Right? Well, one, no one gives
right.
But two, I mean, it's the truth, right? But two, I think all that it does, especially given like what you said, because everything that you do in your business is going to remain the same. Right? So all that it does is communicate instability.
Potentially, especially when you move around a lot.
Yeah. But that's what I think. So like, I've been in the business almost 10 years. I've worked for a total of 3 companies. Mm-hmm. Every single time I moved, I did not make an announcement. Mm-hmm. No one had any idea. My picture remained the same. My phone number remained the same. Everything remained the same. And the transition was freaking seamless every single time. Right? So it's like, it's not necessary, but I think like from a client's perspective, they like, even if it's like a good announcement, I have access to all this tech and all this advertising. It's like, so-and-so just moved. It's going to take them a few months to get their bearings, so I'm not going to actually do business with them. I think it does more harm than good.
You're probably right. You know, and and you said the same thing in the mortgage field, right? Everybody's product is the same at the end of the day, right?
Yeah.
2-to-1 buy down. How many times are you going to hear this? Fuck. Every mother does this. Well, we got this great product. It's called a 2-to-1 buy down. Yeah, you have it, and everybody has it.
Yeah.
Come on, man. You know, it's a great product. Don't get me wrong, but you're not the only one that has it.
No, everyone has it. Basically,
for the most part.
Yeah.
Right?
Do most people understand how it works? That's another question.
Well, that's another story for another day. But everybody's got that product. Right?
Everyone's got.
Same thing with a real estate agent. Everybody's got the product. What's the product at home?
Yeah.
We all have the same products.
The difference is you and how you
you take it, right? So, teams, like I was just trying to say before, teams drive me nuts, right? Because they're on, a team leader might be on an 80-20 split at XYZ Brokerage, and he's got a team member, John Smith, and John Smith's on his team and might be making 50-50 under the team, but is it 50-50 of 100% or is it 50-50 of the 80-20? If it's 50-50 of 100%, then the team leader's taking a hit. If it's 50-50 of 80-20, then it's actually 40%. So he's only making 40% less his BS admin fees that they charge at the broker, which is another thing that drives these BS admin fees, 6% admin fees they're charging at brokerages.
That's insane. But what I did want to ask you on that subject, Rich, is that I feel, and again, I'm a lender, so I don't know, right? But I feel like the team model doesn't work very well unless it's one in some type of luxury sector of the real estate business
to make money.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Or two at 100% commission spot, right?
100%.
Because if it's the average cost, the fees, like you said, they're too high.
Right.
So I've noticed this, right? This is what happens to me at least once or twice a year. Team leader approaches me. Ben, I want to pump some Zillow ads for my agents. Will you hop in on it? And my reaction is, are the agents paying for it or is it just you and me?
Right.
And the answer is it's just you and me. The answer is no.
Right.
Right? Because what happens is that the agents, because they're not feeling the pain of paying for it,
right.
They're not working for the leads.
Right.
And then even when they do, they're like, I'll just do this myself.
Right.
Right? Like, why am I going to split this 50-50 and pay my own shot? And then they end up with 25% and they're like, this doesn't make any sense. Right. So I feel like because all those commissions eat at it, the team model doesn't work. And I've literally seen it, I don't know, Rich,
most team models don't
5-6
work.
times over the course of my career.
You got your team leader who's going to be your the guy giving you everything, right? And then you got your team members. And let's face it, I mean, most of them aren't really doing anything, right? And whoever closes the most leads on the team is going to get the better quality lead. That's just the way it is.
Yeah.
Right. And I think team is probably the most overused word in the business now anyway, because when somebody says they're starting a team, first thing I do is I check their production level. So I'm like, oh, Joe Schmo is starting a team at XYZ Brokerage, and he's done, in 12 months, he did 12 deals. Now, 12 deals is a decent amount. At HomeSmart, that's probably $150,000, $160,000, maybe a little bit more, right? But at a traditional brokerage, that's half. That's like $80,000. So I'm like, how is he going to start a team when he only makes 80? How's he going to keep these team members fed? Automatically, he's going to start generating that amount more leads. I mean, in my opinion, you can't even think about a team until you start approaching that 30 to 40 transactions per year before you should even think about a team. Because anything, and I've done those transactions, anything less than that you can handle yourself.
But Rich, is that realistic in New York? 30 to 40 in New York is it's a shitload.
Well, it is, and out west, that's like nothing.
Yeah.
But it is. It's that's a good amount of money. That's $500,000.
Yeah, it's real money.
And I've done that. So I know what it takes to run a team, because I also run a team, right? I run a team at the brokerage, right? Not nearly as big as it used to be because I've just scaled it down. But I've done 30, 40 deals a year. I know what that's like. And I did it by myself.
Yeah.
And
I've seen the numbers.
Yeah. I don't need to have a team to do 30 or 40 deals. Now, I need a team of good people, whether it's lenders, attorneys, inspectors. That's a different story. But I don't need agents helping me out.
So Rich, why do you think, I know the answer, but I want you to say it. So why do you think that these people start teams?
I think it's because they want to look more than they are. I think because they're phony. I hate to say it. I think they see what everybody else is doing, and they think if they have other people that are working for them, it'll generate that much more business. But what happens is,
interesting,
when you get a team member, let's say the team member did 7 deals last year and you brought him or her onto your team, what's going to happen is when he or she realizes how much money you're actually taking from them on each deal now, they're going to be like, oh my God, I was making 60% at my brokerage. Now I'm doing the leads with you. Now you're taking half of that. Now I'm making 30. Plus I got to pay this bullshit admin fee to the brokerage every month, every deal, which is like 6%, which I told you before, it's just bananas. Now I'm not making anything. So what happens is then it becomes the team leader and the agents, they start to butt heads. And then they just wind up going their own way anyway.
I've seen it happen a million times.
Oh, it happens every day. I watch it every day.
Yeah. And then the very second that team member starts like doing business, within 2-3 deals, they leave.
Yeah.
With the exception of those that have an emotional attachment to the team leader.
Right.
That's the only exception.
Yep. I don't think team leaders realize how much money it actually costs every month to have a productive team. Now, there's a couple of teams on Long Island that do it very well.
Yeah.
Definitely. I think they're on the wrong split. I think they're at the wrong model. But that's a subject for another day. But the way they do their teams, they do it perfectly. I mean, they're spending probably $10,000, $12,000, $15,000 a month just on their team, generating them leads, doing videos with them. You know, now, these agents will never learn to fish on their own.
No.
Which is another problem. But that's maybe a different podcast, right?
Yeah, well, in my opinion, that's on you.
Right.
Right.
I mean, look, because they're going to be so dependent. If you're feeding these guys and they're making $60,000 a year, and you're giving them everything.
You can learn through them, like how, you know, all that stuff works. You learn video, you learn how to, I mean, maybe.
Who's going to take the risk? See, that's another thing. So I'm very.
But that's on you to take that risk.
Right. So I'm very, I take risks.
Yeah.
And
I know.
I do it very simple. If it doesn't kill me, or it doesn't put me in jail, I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
And that's the way I look at it. Am I going to die? No. Is it going to put me in jail? No. So why would I not want to do it?
Good point.
You know, listen, I have wonderful toys that I own.
Yeah.
How do you think I got them?
You got to take risks.
You got to take risks, right? You want toys, you got to take risks. You want investment properties, you got to take risks.
So, okay, on that note, Rich, so I literally quote you. You don't know this, but you said something to me when probably a little bit after we finished that deal 8-9 years ago, whenever it was. And you were talking to me about investing and spending money, which to me, I was in my early 20s, man. I mean, the idea of investing a lot of money in the business was stupid. Not stupid, but alien to me. Right. So, and that really, really changed the game for me. It's like, look, the word or the phrase that you said, which I still say to this day, is that this is a business, right? This is a business, and you have to spend money to grow your business. I feel like so many people don't get that. And
I tell this especially to new agents or agents that are struggling in the business. And now I've changed that a little bit. What I always say is that what a lot of agents don't understand is that they're the CEO of themselves, right? They're running their own business. Even though they're a real estate agent working on their brokerage, it's their business. They're going to get out of it what they put into it. And I always say to them, how many businesses out there cost no money a year or a month in expenses? 0. So you have to put money back into your business.
That's so simple.
Right?
That's so
true. And I say to them, look, I don't know what your budget is. If it's $50 a month, $100 a month, or $5,000 a month, figure out a budget and put it somewhere.
Yeah.
And I've pretty much tried every lead generating thing on the face of the earth. So I have a pretty good idea what's going to work and what isn't if you dedicate the time and the resources to it. And I always say to my agents, listen, if you're going to spend money on something, don't spend it until you tell me about it. Because chances are I've tried it. You know, so let me know what you're spending money on. You know, oh, I want to do Zillow. I got $100 a month for Zillow. Come on, man. We know $100 a month is only.
It doesn't do shit. But Rich, do you find that different lead gen tactics work differently based on the person's personality?
Yes,
yeah.
And that's something you have to get to know your agent's personality. So,
do you have some examples of that?
Yeah. So you want to name agents for example?
You don't have to name the agents, but like a type of personality that's good for a type of lead gen.
So we have an agent. She's very good. You know who she is. And this agent, which I love about her, is that she's pretty much followed everything since she started with me. Every piece of advice I've ever given, she's actually implemented. And she does really, really well now. And she does a lot of different videos. For example, now she does a Monday morning market update.
I know who it is.
Yeah. So she'll call me up and she's going to do my update. And she'll call me and she'll say, well, what do you think of this? This happened last week. So I don't know. You think I should mention it? I said, look, you don't want to make it a negative update all the time. We can't always be negative. Interest rates went up. Interest rates went up. You got to get some positives in it, right? And she's done a really, really good job of these Monday morning updates to a point where as if she forgets to do it, people reach out to her and say, where's the update?
That's amazing.
That is amazing. So we have agents that, you know, that do things like that. I'm really big on social media and
Yeah.
and being yourself.
Yes.
I think that's very, very important.
Tremendously.
Listen, this is the way I dress pretty much every day. And, that's the way you dress every day. And that's the way he dresses every day. And you have to be yourself.
Yeah.
Right? So
It's exhausting. You can't be efficient if you're trying to be someone else the whole time.
I guess I didn't, and I used to dress like this before I even know Steve Jobs even said that. So when Steve Jobs said that he wears the same clothes every day, it's because it's just easy.
Yeah.
You know what? He's freaking right. You know how easy it is to pull out a pair of jeans and a sweatshirt every day?
Yeah.
They're trying to match socks and shoes and watches.
I also feel like you can get away with it when you got your branding on it too.
Yeah.
Right? Like
yeah,
it's
yeah.
much easier.
Yeah. But you know what I'm saying?
I mean, certain occasions I'll dress up a little bit. It's like if
Listen,
I'm
I
teaching
may
to
throw
see,
a jacket on.
Yeah,
but
once
that's
in a
about
while.
the extent of it.
Yeah, like you'll rarely see me in a tie.
No.
Like
I can't
once
do a tie.
once in a freaking.
And besides, fat
blue
guys
moon.
don't look good in suits anyway.
I don't know about that.
Yeah, I don't know. I've tried them custom fit. I don't. I'm not comfortable in them.
Gotcha.
So-
But you want to be comfortable.
This is my comfort zone.
Yeah.
You know.
And I think it goes down to like Steve Jobs and Zuck, they say it's a matter of even Bezos says this, right? It's a matter of like choice fatigue, right? It's like if
Right.
you got to spend time doing it. I don't do it for that reason. I mean, I still I enjoy
I'm just
clothing, I
lazy.
enjoy fashion, but like I think like you want to be yourself, just a matter of efficiency. If you're trying to be someone else the entire time, you can't operate at full capacity because you're trying to be someone else.
Right.
It doesn't work. I mean, there's fake it till you make it, but like to a certain extent, it backfires and it stops you from going forward.
Right.
Which I see in this business, especially with like newer people, even especially on the mortgage side,
Right.
more so than the realtor side. Is like, I mean, like, come on, relax, just chill.
Exactly. But I always preach to agents: just be yourself. Be yourself. Because that's really what people want to see.
Yeah, and they'll connect with you. So instead of like being this facade the entire time and trying to attract X market, Y market, just be yourself and attract the people that are like you, because it's going to be easier for you to work with those people as opposed to trying to work with, let's say you're not a luxury type person, but you want to work with a luxury market.
Right.
Like those people are going to see through you in a second anyway.
They're very, very smart people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. So.
Yeah.
But a lot of people I feel don't get that.
Yeah. And another thing I need to touch on too is that we don't really have turnover. Which is interesting. I'm not saying nobody's ever left us. I mean, we do get the occasional agent that might have been a new agent.
Well, it's hard to
MLS
leave
dues.
100% commission.
Well, they're not going to leave for a better deal, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Right? They're not going to leave for a better broker. I'm sorry. I mean, nobody supports their agents like I do. And
Yep.
and the only time we ever really lose agents, honestly, is if they're either going to go up to open up their own brokerage, and we've lost a few that way, which I think they're out of their mind to do.
Yeah.
And I tell them that all the time. I'm like, you sure you want to do that? And then, like I said, and then some of them just get out of the business. They realize after a year their MLS dues are up, and they're like, you know what? It's maybe just not for me. Cool. But our numbers grow every month. I think this month alone, I think we got eight or nine agents, and it's November.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they're coming from
Ooh.
everywhere.
Do you find that in markets like this, you get more agents than usual?
This is my first
because they want to
market
hold
like-
on more
this
to
is
their
my-
money.
This is my first market like this, but according to the folks over at HomeSmart Corporate, this is the typical time
great for
when
you
they definitely go through their biggest growths. They grow a lot more in their down market.
Yep.
So I mean, it's the fifth largest real estate brokerage, but their biggest growth spurts have been in down markets because we pay more than everybody and our fees are lower and we offer more.
Yeah.
So
So they're like, look, if my volume's going to go down by 50%, I might as well
go to
make up
HomeSmart.
50% and make the same
Well,
amount.
That's something people don't understand either. Like, my favorite thing, I only do 5 or 6 deals a year.
Yeah.
Great. Okay. That's not a bad number. It's not a great number, but it's not a horrendous number. And I'm like,
In New
5 or
York, I
6
feel like that's good.
5 or 6
Average,
deals a
probably.
year at HomeSmart is probably anywhere from $50,000 to $70,000. The brokerage you're at now, it's probably 35. Take some fees off, you're probably like 28, 29. And I'm like, that's not important to you, unless you're like independently wealthy. I don't understand people.
I honestly just don't think that they sit down and do the math. If like,
Or they don't believe it.
Yeah. But it's true. But
They always say to me, how do you make money?
if you see physically, okay, and what's your
I
answer?
love that. So I love to use simple numbers. Okay, simple numbers. If we're $99 a month, let's say we're $100 a month, and let's say I have 150 agents. I have 170ish, but let's say I have 150 agents. So we'll do basic math. That is, what's that? $15,000 a month. Okay, just in agent fees, right?
Okay.
And you could ask me what those agent fees are all about. I can tell you that too. And then let's say we're doing 50 transactions a month. at average of $700 a transaction. That's $35,000. So now I've made $50,000, and I don't have any overhead. What's my overhead? My rents.
Yeah.
I don't really have staff. Who needs a staff at a real estate brokerage? They're all agents. They're independent, right? I'm the only staff. So basically, all that money is going into my pocket. And I use those really low numbers. Our numbers are actually higher than that, but those are simple numbers.
Yeah,
right?
conservative.
Now you're not taking into consideration the 15 deals that I do a year.
Yeah, so that helps a lot because a lot of managers aren't producing, right?
Well, and I only work on referral. I don't take, the deals from my agents or leads from my agents. If my friend calls me up and says I need you to sell my house, I'm not going to give it to you.
Yeah.
He's hiring me. He's not hiring you. So I'll do that deal.
Got it.
And then I do have agents that work on a team with me that I do feed them some leads, and they in turn give back some of their split back to me. So we do, put it this way, we do very, very, very well. Very well. All
Got
right.
it.
So the money is definitely there. I love when they say, how do you make money? And a matter of fact, I think our profit margin, I'm not saying numbers, but our actual profit margin is probably higher than the bigger brokerages. What I mean by that is, let's say I make up a figure. Let's say I'm 30% profit every month. I guarantee there's no brokerages on Long Island that are 30% profit.
Yeah.
See what I'm saying?
I believe it because they have a lot of junk. They have a lot of
Overhead. They have
unnecessary.
5 admins.
Yeah.
They have an office manager probably making $80,000 a year.
Yeah.
And they got a CFO. They got a president.
You're lean and mean.
I'm lean and mean.
Yeah.
But it's different. We don't have the needy agents, so we don't need all of that.
Got it.
All
that
right?
makes a big difference.
Yeah.
So they do have those needy agents,
Right.
which is why those
Right.
agents go there.
Right.
It makes sense.
Yeah. What's the $99 a month for? You can ask me. I'll tell you. It's skin in the game, right?
Yeah.
If I gave you 100% commission and you didn't put any money back into yourself, what's in it for you, right? So I always look at it this way. And I know $100 is not a lot of money, but if every month you're getting billed $100 on your credit card and you look at it every month, you're going to go, what the hell am I doing for this $100 a month?
Yeah. It forces you to do something.
It forces you at least to do something.
Yeah.
Either not stay or do something. So that's really where that comes into play.
Yeah, so that reminded me, something just came to mind. I've seen a lot of agents get into the business because basically, like, their mom is moving, their sister's selling their house. They're like, I might as well get licensed and sell it myself, make the money, keep the money in the family. The problem is that they don't know what to do after that.
Right.
Right? Is that something you see a lot? And
We've had that. That they've gotten into the business themselves because they were going to be eventually selling their own home, but they're very honest about it, and they're like, "Hey, I'm just going to do this for one deal."
Okay, so do any of them or a lot of them transition to full time or to do more?
Some of them have. I mean, we really haven't had a lot of it. I'd say maybe 3 or 4 that have done that. Some of them stick around for the $100 a month, and whatever the MLS fee is, $600-700, whatever it is. Don't take this the wrong way, but any schmuck will walk into at least one deal a year in this business.
I hope so.
You know what I mean? So it's almost a no-brainer not to be an agent, right? If I'm going to tell you, get a license and you'll probably make about $10,000 a year in your pocket, who's not going to do that?
A lot of people aren't going to do it.
Especially at HomeSmart, right? Because you're not going to make $4,000, you're going to make $10,000.
Yeah.
Right?
But most people don't see the money that way.
No. Right. And that's kind of how I got into the business. I figured if I could make $10,000, $20,000, $30,000 just until I found something, I was going to be okay with that. That's the way I looked at it. But I didn't realize that I'd be so damn good at it that it became a career. I remember my wife told me. She told me that, I don't know, I was in the business for a few months at that point. She said, "You're not going to get a regular job, are you?" I said, "Absolutely not.
Yeah.
No, this is what I do now."
You found your home.
Found it.
Got it.
So.
All right, Rich. So let's we're out of time.
Okay.
Of. So let's wrap up. Any final thoughts for the people? Anything you want to get out there?
No, I mean the only final thoughts for agents is we're in a tough time right now. I know you guys hear that all the time. I don't think it's as tough as you make it out to be. I think a combination of the interest rates and the month we're in, and we're heading into that low season anyway. I think that's kind of doubling down on us a little bit. But you really need to look at your expenses. You need to look at where you're at, and you need to figure out, what's going to happen once we bounce back from this. Where do I got to put my license? Where am I going to make the most money? Where am I going to have the best opportunity? And if that's where you're at right now, wonderful, stay there. But if there's anything in the back of your mind that says, I need to do something better,